Friends, I have such an exciting conversation ready for you with my good friend Derek, who went through the Shame Free Gay Life 10-week program, and I'm so excited to hear from his mouth what this experience was like. But if you're new to the channel, go ahead, like this video, subscribe for more content. If you don't know me, my name's Eric Feltus, and I'm a life coach who empowers other gay men to heal from religious harm and reclaim their self-worth, their confidence, and their joy. And one reason I love doing what I do is because of this person in front of me. And he didn't pay me to say that, but look at how cute he is. Hi, Derek.
Hi.
That's all. I just wanted people to admire our faces. So,
It's
Derek,
worth it.
Yeah. So, Derek, we've known each other, what, like 3 years almost? 2.5 years?
I would say, yeah, two and a half going on 3. Mm-hmm.
How do you feel it's going? How's our relationship going to you? This is a check-in for our relationship.
I always look forward to Monday nights.
Yeah.
And like outside of that, I always look forward to your responses to all of the little questions and the wonderful celebrations that I have. So I'd say it's going quite well.
I love our Monday nights. Y'all, if you're listening, Monday nights are when we have our community calls. They're for members of the 10-week program. And I always feel uplifted after them. There's something about community that's so important. Community is the antidote to shame. So I think we so often feel like we're alone in this, and then we come around other men who value our values, and we realize that we're really not alone in this. We just need to be able to connect with others to feel more whole. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. It's the perspectives that have really helped and shaped
huge
for me as well. Yeah.
So Derek and I met through the 10-week program, and worked on the program. And then Derek came back and said, I kind of want to continue to get involved in the program, became a volunteer and ran some really awesome book clubs and in small groups. And then I hired him because he's awesome. But part of his superpower is that he loves this work and he loves the men in this program, and he's gone through it. So he knows really what this is all about. So can we start at the beginning, and let's just talk about, like, why did you sign up for the 10-week program in the first place? Like, what were some of the barriers that were holding you back?
Yeah. So I have been in therapy since around 2016, following like an initial religious related, episode, and wanted to go to therapy to understand it better. And I think that over the years, therapy was really helpful in breaking down some of what was going on, but I still felt really held back in terms of understanding other people, understanding community, building relationships with people through a lot of the weight from the trauma related to like early childhood and experiences in the church.
Can you touch a little on what your experiences in the church was like, and like some of the beliefs at the time that you adopted?
Yeah, I grew up in Southwest Louisville, Kentucky, and most of my childhood was spent pretty involved in church, evangelical and Nazarene denomination, Protestant churches. I was very involved. I've always been a musician. I've always been into acting and performance. And so, of course, churches love that. So I've always been involved in ministry in various ways. And at the height of what I'll say, my sort of like more fundamentalist beliefs, I was really into Calvinism. I was really into predestination. And actually was interested in conversion therapy. I wanted to actually go into doing conversion therapy for myself and other people to turn people away from being gay. And that was kind of my world. I would say my first 20 years of life. And it felt at the time strong and like a good path. And it was obviously like, it's what I was hearing from everyone. And everyone was telling me that I would do well in this. And so, I felt like I was finding meaning and purpose there. But the problem was that I had known I was gay since I was 7 and had just leaned into the closet as a way to, use my faith and my religion to protect myself, and basically just stay in one spot and not really ever get to know myself or ever get to know what I actually truly wanted or desired. So around 24, 25 is when I finally broke out of that. Did a lot of soul searching and decided to come out and start sharing that part of me. And it didn't take long to see, that the world that I sort of grew up in and the people that I once had called mentors and role models quickly did not know what to do with these, this side of me. And that was the least of it. And the most of it was, some very hurtful things that people would say to me or even just disappeared. So it became really evident that, what I was around early in life was not going to work for me going forward. So I had to make a decision.
I think it's important that you said that, because I think that, some of the men we've worked with have not come out, some have come out, but I think there's this false belief that when you come out, all of your problems are gone. And that's just not true. So after you came out,
I hoped that they would be.
I know. What was it like for you after you came out?
It was bittersweet. There was a feeling of like, okay, I'm kind of restarting. I'm starting over. I'm going to do this my way. I'm going to figure this out. And that was exciting to me in one way. And then in the other way, it was, oh, I don't have any idea what to do. I don't know who to be. I don't know how to be. I don't know what my identity is really beyond just this one thing that seemed like so important to me. But now that's not going to fill in all the gaps. So it was scary.
It is scary.
It was exciting and scary.
Mm-hmm. High highs and low lows, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like, I don't know if you relate to this, but I know a lot of men we work with come to us feeling as if they're too gay for Christians, but they're not gay enough for the gay community. And it's like, it's really a question of a sense of belonging. Like, where do I belong as and because of who I am? And so we started working together. Talk to me about what that process was like. And you don't have to hold back. You can be honest.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I knew that I wanted to, try life coaching, and I knew that I wanted someone who really was interested and passionate in that work and had experienced something similar to what I had experienced. And so I found you and I found your story and I did a little homework on you and I listened to your podcast and I, looked at some other resources and, I think, I thought, okay, whatever this person has put together, I'm really interested in seeing how this can help me get to know myself better. I mean, that was really the biggest thing I needed.
Yeah.
I felt like I had so many things I couldn't figure out about myself. So I think it was the end of 23, and I found the Instagram, and we talked back and forth a little bit about everything. And in the first week, I think it was the 101 Once, or the once list that was in the first week.
Yeah.
And right away, I was like, wow, it's such a simple task to just write out what you want. And yet I could not figure it out. And that was I was probably one of the earliest indications that I needed to focus more on that question.
On what you want. Yeah. And what came from that? Like, what did you learn about yourself? How did that impact you figuring out what you wanted?
Right away, I learned that I turned myself away from a lot of opportunities because I tell myself I shouldn't or I can't. And that was the reason why I had a hard time coming up with what I wanted, because I have these voices, these feelings that say, oh, don't do that. You shouldn't do that. You don't deserve that. You can't do that. You aren't able to do that. So it's like all of these and I kept, wow, where is that coming? Why do I keep stopping myself from wanting things? Like, what is that?
You always say this.
I traced it back to, yeah.
You always say this. Whose voice is that? Yeah.
Because for a long time, I just thought it was me. Like, it's just me not wanting it. It's just me not really wanting it. And then I asked myself again, but you do want it. So whose voice is that saying you don't deserve it? And it was like, oh, that's not my voice. That's
Mm,
not me. It's not me at all. So who is it? And I've
mm,
traced it back to specific people from my past because
mhm.
I grew up in an environment where there was a lot of fear
Yeah,
of a lot of things that are completely healthy and beautiful and normal and wonderful to
yeah.
desire. And so the first time we really opened up desire, that was a big part of what I needed.
God, I love that, and you helped me learn that question of whose voice is that? How what we say in this program is find the origin story, right? Like instead of asking the question, "Is it true? I can never get this thing." Instead of asking, "Is it true?" What if we ask, "Is it helpful?" And if it's not helpful, can we
Mm,
go back to our origin story and figure out whose voice is that? Where did we adopt this belief? It's a huge part of this program that you just described.
mhm,
So it sounds like that helped you to develop your own identity in a way of what you really want and who
mhm.
you are, not because of other people, but looking inward at what's good for you and your body.
Yeah, it's been an incredibly important and fundamental question to ask myself, whose voice is this or in what do I desire?
Yeah. I mean, desire is divine. I think that in Christianity,
Hmm.
oftentimes we're taught that our own desires are bad. But if you look down and deep into the core of it, it's always divine. Whatever you want is always divine at its core. Usually we want to connect. We want to feel safe. We want to feel love. We want to feel abundant. Those are not bad things. I'm not saying all the avenues to get them are always good, but to look back into our core
Right.
and recognize that in our core, we're not bad. We're not sinners. We're not enough. We're not unworthy. We are good. Would you agree with
Yeah,
that?
there's an important distinction. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would absolutely agree. There's an important distinction between how you feel, and your feelings are really good information, and what you're desiring doesn't mean that you're going to take a specific course of action necessarily. But I think for me, I always kind of grew up hearing that if I'm thinking it, if I'm thinking it and it's not something that other people like, it's as bad as doing it. If I'm
Mm,
thinking about it, then I've already committed it or I've already done it or whatever. And I just want to like encourage people to remember that thinking about something and feeling something is not doing something. Those are very different. And that's something that I needed to really like parse out.
I think additionally, I'll say that, you just said that, we adopt this belief that morality is based on what other people say. Right. And so like
Right. Yeah.
even if it is doing it, A, to each their own, B,
Hmm.
my morality is not based on what other people say I should or should not do. So it's like looking inward and seeing what's right for me in my own body in this moment. Big.
Exactly. And then you can decide what the action steps are.
So I have this thing that I talk about with men a lot, which is called the light. And I see this light turn on in people's eyes. I know you've heard me say this so many times. And what happens is like when you don't know what you don't know, and so often I don't look at someone and think, oh, the light's not on. Although lately, sometimes I am becoming more aware of that. But I do see the light get turned on. I don't know how to describe it, but
Mhm.
like there is a glisten in your eye that was not there when we first started working together. And so I'm curious, like, what did this community, the Shame Free Gay Life community, this program, these exercises, this transformational experience of helping you heal from that harm and reclaim your joy and your self-worth and your confidence, what did that do for you?
Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, it's a good question, and it's one that I have a lot of gratitude. I'm very grateful for all of the men who come through the program, the ones who are in the group that, I still talk to all the time. I would say their perspectives, what they've experienced in their lives, have given me a lot. I would say a lot of their stories, a lot of their storytelling has let me consider different options for myself as well.
Mm,
Also, believing that I was alone in a lot of my struggle, and learning that that's not the case at all. That's not true.
mm,
And now, like 2 years later, being able to encourage other men who come into the group and just say, "You're not alone here." And you'll
mm,
see very quickly that a lot of us experience the same feelings and the same pain from from similar experiences. So it's great to have that community and great to hear from each other on how they're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah.
How are you doing in life? You know, how are you applying what you're learning here? That's also really been helpful too.
What would you say is the biggest or one of the biggest things that you have learned through this process and this work?
Ooh, one of the biggest things I've learned, I would say the power of a pause and the power of reflecting on a situation, whether you're journaling, whether you're writing out the fears associated with this situation, whether you're thinking, whose voice is this? Or thinking, you know, what do I desire? Or for me, it's been a lot of inner child connection. Going back to when I was 7, 8, 9 years old. What does that version of me desire and want? What does that version of me want today? And then also a lot of mirror work, like a lot of talking to myself and addressing things with myself that in past seasons felt untouchable, conversations that I wasn't allowed to bring up with myself. Now, I think the more that becomes free flowing, and it might sound kind of strange to talk about having a relationship with myself, but that's the whole goal, right? It's to see myself, right? Because that's all I've ever wanted, is to just be seen for who I am. And not having that need met as a child and into adulthood just led to all of this. And so it's, how do I see myself? Because that allows so much of that grief to be brought to the surface and processed, and then it evaporates and you get to just walk free. And that's, I would say that's been one of the biggest takeaways from the program for me.
Woo! Really well said. I didn't even give you these questions beforehand.
No,
it's like you mean it or something. How weird. Well,
yeah, I do.
This is one reason why I love and respect you so much, is that you do the work and you're authentic in the work, and you push back when something doesn't feel right, and you challenge it, and you're open, and you recognize that it takes courage, and you recognize that the more you put into this work, no one's going to save you. The more you put into this, the more you get out of it. And that is so true and apparent in the work that you've done in this community. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being a part of my life and being a part of the Shame Free Gay Life program.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Like I said, if this speaks to you, subscribe it, comment below, tell us what your biggest takeaway is. And if you are interested in hearing about the Shame Free Gay Life program, this 10-week program that's designed to help you heal from this sort of religious harm and reclaim that joy, that confidence, that self-worth, then click the first link below to see if you qualify, and we'll go from there. All right, buddy. Thanks so much. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.